Hi, welcome to the Reds We See, where we talk about our favorite soccer team, Toronto FC. I'm Dan.
And I'm Corey.
Corey, we decided to extend this into two games, the last two games, which I was ready to call you up tonight and say, you know what, why don't we just wait, see what happens for the third game, so that maybe we can
Why not?
have some good news. That was the theory behind waiting for the last two matches, which total goals was 6, none for us.
Against.
Yeah, 6 against, 5-0 in the first match and 1-0 in the most recent match.
You can't even call that first one a match. That first one was just terrible. That was disgraceful. That was the supporter shield. That was supporter shield getting taken away. The kid, the whole thing where the kid took his ball away from the play, and went home. And then Greg Vanney, I can't even get this all out. I'm red right now. So Greg Vanney says that it doesn't matter what's going on. At the end of the season, they're going to lift something. Even if they have to get a sewer grate and paint it up, they're going to lift something. Well, it looks like it's going to be that way, because the first chance that any team that could possibly take the supporter shield away from Toronto shows up, Toronto doesn't. Okay? They had a week off. Yeah, they played a lot of football in that time, but they had a whole week off. They already clinched, and then they come back, and they do absolutely nothing. They did not show up. Not one player on TFC showed up against Philly that night. Philly came up to the schoolyard and said, "Who's the toughest team here?" TFC said, "We are." Philly then proceeded to pull out the biggest cheesesteak they've ever had and smacked us around with it all over the pitch. There was zero changing in the game plan. They had no adaptivity whatsoever. I understand that players were hurt. Players were just getting over injuries, and some had to manage themselves. But you don't do that by spreading everybody out and having Paz run around with the ball until his hamstring breaks. Thankfully, it didn't. Philly opened them up. They did not play their original game of being nice and tight and making those 6, 7, 800 passes in the game. They allowed everybody to spread out, and they just dumped and chased, which would have been fine had they have matched Philly when Philly was on the offense. They did none of that. It was just a terrible outing.
So,
and
how do you really feel about it, Corey?
Oh, man, I've been waiting too many days to get that out. It was garbage. It was the worst game I've seen them play.
Now, you don't think, I mean, you said you gave them an excuse for injuries, but you don't think that's good enough?
No. I mean, the thing is, TFC plays a certain way. They have a system. And Greg Vanney said it. Everybody said it. It works. They stick to it. Now, you have people that are out of the lineup, and we're finally giving younger guys or guys that haven't really had their time, their minutes, they're getting them now. And Vanney seemed like he was protecting them. He wasn't allowing them to learn the system. The best way to learn is, here you go, kid. Good luck. Don't die. There you go. Here's the system. Go do it. You don't hold them back and then say, we're going to play like this. It's different than what we're used to, but you're going to come in, you're going to play here, and we'll see what happens. And then at 1-0, it's okay. Let's go. 2-0, it's something's starting to happen here. And then at 3-0, they just said, okay, we're done. That's it. Just let them out. There was no adaptivity. There was no, here you go, learn it, play it, let's do this. There's no keep up. It's just whatever. I mean, those guys haven't been playing all year because there's no TFC2. There's nothing for them to get going on, and they couldn't have just here you go.
So you're saying they waited too long to let the young ones have a chance? Because let's talk about that. Before that 5-0 drumming of us, what would you change, and why would you change it when you were winning?
No, exactly. You wouldn't, because everything is working. And then But like I said, this was the first real test of a team that could take the Supporter Shield away from Toronto. And instead of rolling with what works, they said, I don't know, here's a blender.
Trust me, I did not enjoy watching that match at all. And I'm not going to say, I wasn't unhappy and stuff like that, but there are lots of injuries. There are young ones coming on, learning, not so much learning the gameplay because they've gotten this far. They know the gameplay. It's getting the actual minutes. It's not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
It does suck that, you got to look at it as well. They're playing the other best team in the league, except their lineup was their top 11 starting system. Ours was not. It's done. It's over. Let's move on to New York City FC. Now, still not the end result we wanted.
No.
Are you less bitchy about the 1-0 loss?
I'm a little less bitter. Because it was more obvious they were allowing those who haven't had the minutes come out. It was good to see guys like Schaff again out on the pitch.
For sure.
Again, though, they didn't play their usual system. At least I didn't notice I didn't notice how it was the same type of feel of TFC out on the pitch. Granted, again, it's those guys that haven't been playing. But it's still a loss. And we're slowly losing control of that first place. Well, now we're in second, and it's a mountain of goal differential. But
nothing's impossible. Let's also hit on the idea of who was missing. All right, so there was no Delgado injured previous game, no Jonathan Osorio, no Mavinga. Who am I missing? No Oro. You start no Akinola still. So there's 5 players. That's half your starting 11.
Yep.
So you also have to put into context the league we play in. After the big dollars are spent, there is nothing in comparison with your depth. Your depth can only go so far because there's only so many dollars. And I'm not making excuses for Toronto FC, but that's the league in a whole. You lose your top players in this league, that's it. The lower people on the rungs, they're just not there yet. They're going to be there. I was excited to see. I'm going to take the positive from this. I was excited to see all the young players getting their first starts and getting some minutes, and that's our future, and that's great. Mm-hmm. I think the Supporter Shield has been lost. I still think Toronto FC will be able to win out the last 2 matches. But at the same time, I think Philadelphia will win out their last 2 matches as well. So that'll just get rid of that. All right after they decided to bring back the Supporter Shield hardware.
Right.
We jinxed ourselves. We jinxed ourselves. Come on now.
Yes. I think they were looking beyond the Supporter Shield at that point, thinking that. But you know what? We clinched. We were the first team to clinch, and I think that had a big factor in it too. They don't necessarily need the points.
Let's talk.
They can move forward.
Let's talk about that then. Are you willing, with all the injuries we've had and the guys who are still coming back from injury, and we've already clinched the playoff spot, so the next goal and the biggest goal is the MLS Cup, even though it's just a mini tournament. That is the goal of every team in this league because it's the biggest trophy. Mm-hmm. Are you happy with the idea of it's possible that the last 2 matches we play are going to be much the same of what we saw, so that people can still get rested and get healthier and then go into the playoffs with the starting 11 we'd love to see?
I wouldn't say no to that. The only issue that I have with that is if you don't use it, you lose it type of feel. So you have those who are ready to go back, but you just want to give them that extra little bit. Maybe let them come on and run around towards the end of the game.
No, for sure. I'm just saying that we're going to end up with the same starting 11 possibly. in the next match, even if, for example, Osorio and Akinola are ready to come back. Would you start them?
No, well, no.
These are the fun things as fans. We sure can talk a lot, but
right.
You know,
so
everyone's
let's just go one thing straight. I'm okay with losing, especially when we're sitting at the top of the league and we're already in the clinch. The thing that I was most upset about was 5-0. They didn't show up, and then they just let everything get away. That's what bothered me. You are a top team. Championship teams find ways to win no matter what. And so now looking after the game against New York and to the future, knowing that we're going to make the playoffs, and now that the supporter shield is out the window, we're just waiting for playoffs at this point in time. So give some of the young guns, like you said, the starts, let them run around and start to figure out where they should be and what to do within the Toronto system. And then in the second half, maybe get Osorio to come in at the 45th minute. Maybe, maybe get Akinola if he's ready. Get those guys back up to speed while playing their minutes. Maybe not starting, but getting into the game, getting into shape.
Well, we only have a few days to wait, and we'll find out pretty soon for the next match on Sunday. Hey, you never know. We slipped up this last 2 games. Philadelphia might slip up too, and we get that trophy. But
here's hoping.
There's only one way to find out. We need to watch them play the matches first. I'll see you in a few days, and hopefully when we talk again, you'll be smiling and you'll be praising all these
I'm
players.
A little sweaty now.
Yeah, you better go have a shower, cool off a little,
right?
buddy.
Go do a lap.
Reds.
Come on, you Reds.